Hello everybody, so I've been on a bit of a pixel art kick lately, so I wanted to do a little bit of recording and then make a commentary to go along with what I did. Spoiler alert, it's not my greatest work, but I'm happy-ish with it now. But it went through a lot here, and so excited to share it with you and the process that goes into making these portraits. So I start mine out with just the worst outline ever, because I do all my spriting on a trackpad, so I mean I don't draw the best sketches, but that's the great thing about pixel art is then you can go and refine all this stuff later. So I usually jump right in with the face and I just start shading it immediately. I use a 507 style shading, so I have the second shade on the far cheek as opposed to the third, which they do in FE8. And so yeah, I like doing the face first because to me it's like, at this point, it's like the most natural part for me. Like, I don't have to use a whole lot of references, and I usually just chill and bullshit my way through it. But I had some issues with this one because the angle that I had originally drawn up, and I did actually take a reference photo to try to hit the angle, was like slightly up. You can see it, I'm kind of going up, and I getting this massive forehead. See that? Get rid of that. Right now he's pretty level, but I mess around with this angle a lot trying to make it work, and it really just never worked. So I had to sort of abandon that at the end. I had a lot of trouble with the eyes on this one. Like, knowing how to draw eyes is like a skill you have to relearn every time. Maybe one day I'll know how to do it every time. Yeah. Well, there I accidentally tilted my canvas, and on the trackpad there's no recovering from that, so I had to reopen the document. So yeah, I'll usually just pencil in eyes with the outline color and then fix them with whatever color I'm going to use later. But yeah, so I'll draw the hair in. I usually don't start with the outline color for outlines and things because I'm going to draw over it anyways with whatever colors it actually uses. So it seems like a waste to put an outline down if you're just going to color over it. So I usually don't. Yeah, so completely opposite of what I just said. Here I am drawing with the outline color, but whatever. So here you can see sort of the angle I was going for, taking shape. Like, the mouth is going off, and then one eye's higher than the other. I had this vision of this like sort of tired, sort of apathetic look. Was part of it, but I mean it just looks horrible. Like, whenever I zoom out, it's like, oh god, it's so bad. But there's lots of video left to go for me to fix it, and hopefully it gets okay. So here I am pulling out my own portrait for eye reference, and it's like, alright, but if you have to reference your own picture, how'd you draw the first one? And the answer is I got lucky one time and I drew a really good eye, so now I have to reference that. So you either get lucky or you just copy something you already made. That's how I sprite. Yeah, so sometimes there's a heavy shading on the near cheek. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go for that on this one. I have it here now, but we'll see where that goes later. I decided to take a break from the face because I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't going anywhere. So did a little bit of armor there. It like almost looks okay, the face thing here. Oh god, don't do that. So I just gotta stare at it and hope it fixes itself if I look at it. Yeah, I made his face a little wider, and then yeah, I got rid of the near cheek shading because this guy doesn't seem like he'd have thick cheekbones like that. Tried to bring that angle on the mouth back, and I was just trying to get this angle on, and no, it just didn't work. It's close to working, right there. It's like almost there, but it doesn't look bad there. It looks okay. But no. I had some issues on this one. I had some issues because the recording setup really goes really different than what I normally do. Because normally I'll draw a sprite like in 10-minute increments or an entire day. But when I record, I have to record all at once because otherwise I have to have a whole bunch of recordings and I have to record every time I tab back in or whatever. So it's really different if I do recording, and it kind of messes up my workflow, and I don't think I sprite as well. It also slows down my computer and makes the fans go into overtime and stuff, which is not great. But it's the price you pay for video. So yeah, I'm just still messing with these eyes. I've been having some hard time with eyes lately. It's not great. Yeah, so with bodies, what I've been doing recently is I've just been putting on collared shirts and stuff and just taking pictures of how the wrinkles work. I think that's really been helping me do cloth better. Because, I mean, it's hard to bullshit cloth because it's just obvious when it doesn't work. Yeah, here's where I kind of gave up on the face. I did not delete it, I just put something over it because, like, if you stare at something too long, like, you sort of stop seeing the actual, it just looks bad, like, but it's hard to identify the actual problem. So I thought if I covered it up, maybe I could come back to it and sort of jump out to me what was wrong with it. Like, that's sort of what you do with horizontal flipping. So if you stare at it for too long and you flip it the other way, you're like, whoa, god, wow, it looks horrible. So I was like, alright, I'm just going to ignore the face for a little bit. I'm going to work on the body. Like, hopefully when I bring the face back into this, it'll make sense. I'll be able to be like, yeah, that's what's wrong with it. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, I'm just filling in the body here. He had sort of this hand on the hip pose for the far arm, with this near arm just sort of being casually resting there. That's the pose I was going for. I like to draw a lot more body than you usually see in the final portrait because I find that, like, just having the additional context for what you're drawing is really helpful for sort of having the shapes that you can see in the right places and, like, places that make sense. Yeah, and so then I was like, alright, I didn't like those first wrinkles because I just, like, eyeballed them off my reference, and I decided to, like, actually go for it here. I'm pretty happy with how the wrinkles turned out in the end. I think I'm getting a lot better at cloth, especially using the references helped a lot. So if you have trouble with cloth, definitely try to get references. I know it's hard to get stuff for, like, capes and things. It's like, I don't have any good capes laying around. But shirts I can do. So yeah, it's just look at what they look like. These aren't perfect yet, so I gotta fix them more. They're not bad. I'll make them better. Yeah, that one was bugging me. It's too far out. Yeah, so armor is another kind of hard thing to do sometimes because there's really no good references for, like, anime style armor. I mean, real armor doesn't look anything like this. Like, you know, fat trim like this and stuff. You know, red armor. Like, I don't think anybody's in real life has ever had red armor like this. So you just kind of got to make it up. And like, if you have a shape in mind, it's sort of easier to imagine, like, what space it's going to take up. But it's a bit of a struggle. So I'm like, all right, let's see if I can fix this face yet. And no, I can't. Yeah, it was a struggle, a major struggle. Then I sort of use placeholder colors a lot and then mess with them after the fact. So here I'm trying to fix these blues. I think I went a little saturated there. I'm not the best at picking colors. There's fine lines between too saturated and not saturated enough. And there's also, like, different styles you can do of whether you want your lightest and your second lightest to be close together, or if you want your second shade and your third shade to be close together. I think they can both work and they're both interesting. This one, I kind of botched the colors on this one in the end because my third shade for the shirt ended up just being outline color. Here I put some glasses on him because I don't want to look at those eyes anymore. I think he looks kind of cool with the glasses, so maybe I should have just finished those and left him with some sunglasses on. Might have been better than what I ended up with. So here I'm just looking at the collar, sort of little details on the, starting on the neck, yeah. Because I mean, like, at this point, I still have a lot of stuff to do. Like, I barely started the body, and I have hair left to do. I'm gonna fix this ear. Ears are funny because in vanilla Fire Emblem, like the ears they draw, they don't make any sense. It's just like this giant glob of darkness. I try to draw more realistic-ish ears. Yeah, and so, alright, so what I have here with the colors is sometimes, like, if I'm trying to draw something and it just doesn't look like it's working, I'll try to use a palette that I know is pretty good, like the palette I used on Icarus. So if I take that palette for his hair and start messing around with this hair, like, I'll be able to tell if the hair shading's bad or if it was the colors that was bad. I didn't go super far with this hair palette for shading the hair. Like that is a process that I use a lot of the time, just to start my hair and be like, here's a working palette. Let me try to get the colors I'm actually going to use off something similar to this. And then yeah, I kind of pulled the bangs back a little bit there, and like the shape they were taking. And then yeah, which kind of means like getting the same hairstyle I give to like almost all of my characters. It's just hair swept off to one side, and then kind of off-center part. I kind of give that hair to everybody. And then here I picked some browns. I'm not super happy with the browns I picked. It's like kind of like chocolatey. I don't know. I don't think it's great hair colors, but brown. I'm not good at picking brown colors because brown it's a weird color to get looking good. It's a fine line between like red, brown, and baby food. It's not great. Now back to the eyes. Yeah, I'll get it one day. Yeah, so I bring Hector's eyes in here to, I mean, Hector kind of has similar eyes, so I was going for just to try to pull a reference. Elio's got those big anime eyes. I don't really like giving giant anime eyes to the guys. So for hair, pretty much just got draw sort of general shape strands and then blend them together so it's not like too segmented up or anything. I think hair is just one of those things you get after drawing it for a while. So there's a lot of ways to like add little details to hair that can make it look a lot better. I don't think the hair I drew here is anything exceptional. Just kind of standard hair. Standard, and that's the most standard hairstyle I give to everybody as well. Like, his hair's so poofy at first. It's crazy. And then, so now I go into the body a little bit more. I draw this sort of these wrinkles on the shirt, even though we're really not going to see them. Just because, I mean, if we do end up seeing them, because like, I don't really know exactly where the chest plate's going. So I want to have a good base that makes sense, sort of how the rest of the shirt is. So I copied that off my reference, because I wasn't wearing body armor in my reference photo, obviously. Dude, he looks so cool with that pop collar and the shades. Just leave him like that, man. No armor, wearing sunglasses. Would have been better. Yeah, so one of the things I actually did like on this sprite was these it's the straps for his armor. I thought I did a pretty good job of giving him some texture and a little bit of character. Just two colors and really sort of implying a lot more than drawing. Like just pretty much a U shape on there. Like it gives the impression of sort of two different elevations to it, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, so the chest plate, I mean, it's a boring design. You can see it on the right. Like, it's really not that interesting. But I feel like the trim didn't look that good on this. So the far side is pretty scuffed up too. I redrew it at least once, but I mean, I was having a rough day trying to draw this stuff. But I think I like the collar. I like the collar. I like the straps. The face isn't horrible at this point. It's just like kind of generic looking. So there at the end, I was just sticking some extra detail on the armor, making it look all cool. So yeah, I mean that's the sprite process. I pretty much just wing the whole thing and make it up as I go. Abandon the pose I picked halfway through, and just try to make it look good.